Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Carnivore Community Live. We're here with our special guest. We have Christian. I'm not even going to try to do it because I already blanked that. So sorry about that. We're here with Christian. We have Jenny and Tony joining us as well. And I think we're in for a good treat. Absolutely. So welcome, guys. Let's get started. How are we all doing today?
Good. Thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, it's really a pleasure. This is my first official podcast as Primal Resistance, which was a rebrand that I had to do over a year ago. But yeah, no, it's really a privilege to be here. I've been in touch with you, Selina, for a little bit, and yeah, it's just great to be part of like this community. I've always wanted to be part of something like this, so it's great to be joining you guys here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Of course. It's been a pleasure for sure. And I think as you'll get to talking with Jenny and Tony more, you'll just, create more friends here in this wonderful, wonderful space of exploration and awareness that we are creating for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. And that's what we need. We need friends, we need,
That's
we
right.
need community. Yeah.
It's kind of how there are years of isolation, I felt pretty alone. It's kind of, and this is why you guys, the carnivore community is such an important thing. It's nice to have kindred spirits and like-minded people having conversations about stuff that actually matters. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
For sure. Always. We love you, Tony. We love you. All right, guys. Come on, where's all the good stuff? We're not going to start off this quiet,
right
are
out
we?
of the chute, eh? That's it, right? It's like four loud-voiced people, just the quietest right out of the chute. Right?
It's so nice to meet you.
Welcome. We're very happy.
Nice.
It's just nice.
I guess the time zones are a little different too, right? So I guess have you guys eaten yet? Is it dinner time or is it?
I'm fasting today.
Oh, hey, everybody's fasting. I haven't eaten yet. It's
I just broke my fast. I just killed a whole bowl of blueberries. I do animal based, so this is my my carb source. I eat ground beef pretty much every single day, grass fed, grass finished, of course. And I've been eating that for like the past 3 years consistently with minor deviations. And I will say it's kept me sharp. It's kept me lean year round. I do 85-15 ground beef, which is, it's the most accessible that you can find. And then, just sticking to fruit as my carb sources for the past year. I know, this is a carnivore community, but, I know that, there's different variations of carnivore that you can go down. You could do animal-based, full carnivore. I think carnivore is great, especially in a therapeutic sense. A lot of people, they think that the carnivore diet it really is a lifestyle, but it can also be used as a form of healing,
Absolutely.
And it's healed me before. I've done months of carnivore, and it's helped with autoimmunity issues, which I guess we could dive into in a little bit. Autoimmunity and low testosterone. That's something that's a trending topic. I just posted a video about 2 hours ago, and it's kind of blowing up. It's at almost 200,000 views on Instagram. It's another one of those reels that I've been putting out, kind of just like a deep dive into like the whole Charlie Kirk murder situation. Very tragic what happened. And just kind of doing a deep dive, putting 2 and 2 together. And that's what my content does, is just deep dives and just, I'm literally learning stuff as I'm Google searching in the videos, which is kind of cool as well. But yeah, we could definitely dive into all that stuff. Don't mean to go on a tangent here, but I had breakfast like an hour ago and it was delicious as always.
Well, I think you said something there, Christian, too, with ground beef. Like a lot of people that I find anyway, especially with even clients and family and friends, they ask you, how can you eat ribeyes? And it's not about that. Like, I think I think that the value of a beautifully sourced ground beef, arguably, there's more stuff in there, like whatever they're grinding it with. If they're not just grinding steak, the chop or whatever, it's very, very valuable, especially for people that are just looking to start on a budget.
For sure. Yeah. I think it's a great option. And not only that, like, people don't realize that ground beef actually contains a lot of collagen, which is typically absent from muscle meat like steak. So when it comes down to, affordability, it's not just affordability, it's the benefit you get from it.
And that's like Anthony Chafee talks about Salisbury, Dr. Salisbury, the Salisbury steak, that was his healing go-to. Was ground beef in a patty.
Yeah, it's honestly the way to go. Yeah. And I don't really cook it in ground beef format, like really, really ground. I cook it in burger patties, which is like, I just, it cooks better in my opinion. And you get some red in the middle. Yeah. That's what I like about it. It kind of just medium, it's more bioavailable and whatnot, but.
Well, don't you guys find it?
You guys are making me want some ground beef.
Sorry, we're talking about beef on a fast, right? Beef on a fast.
I want some ground beef right now. I'll tell you.
Is it still like, I know in the States it might be a little different, but in Canada, if you go order a beef patty in the restaurants, you can't get it medium rare. They won't do it medium. They have to cook it throughout, and it's actually the law. I don't know how you guys because I mean,
in Canada they don't. You can't cook it a particular way at restaurants.
No, they won't do it for you. They won't, because of that whole Jack in the Box history, the E. coli problem, and
boy.
So Wednesday we went out to dinner for my son's 18th birthday, and we were able to get a medium rare hamburger perfectly. Like nobody.
I mean, we can't get raw milk either, so.
Well, in my state, I can't either. So. That's still like state dependent here in the US, whether or not we have easy access, questionable access, or no access.
We can, I will say, I don't know about where you are, Tony, but for us, if I go to a pet store, I can buy raw goat milk from the pet store for my dog.
Yeah, there's a loophole.
Yeah, and I don't know if it is out west where you are, but for me, I can. But I can't get raw cow milk there, only goat.
Weird. Yeah, I think there is a loophole, the same kind of thing, if it's not for human consumption, But it's just a ridiculous workaround. I mean, like the benefits of this stuff is, everybody's arguing about it, but it's,
Right. I mean, it's insane.
So are you guys carnivores, or like, what do you guys typically, what kind of diet do you guys follow the majority of the time?
I consider myself there was a word I used that described it best yesterday. I am not like a strict Lion's diet carnivore, because I'm not at the moment, but I do allow myself dairies, cheese, butters, those sorts of things. But I would also say there's about 5% of the year that I might allow myself to just do as I wish. Like if I'm out for a birthday or whatever.
Yeah.
I have not done that the last couple experiences that have happened, because there's a lot of holidays in the month of September for me. So I'm like, that would just be way off the beaten path. But so I consider myself a fairly pure carnivore, in the sense of I don't eat fruits. I don't eat any kind of vegetables of any kind. But I am very conscious and aware of the same concept, like you were saying, Christian, where there's different variants. It really depends on the person. So that's where I'm at.
Gotcha.
Tony?
And what about you, Tony?
Well, I'm kind of at the point now where I just I believe in intuition, and I believe in, like, there's some tenets that I kind of follow if I can. And as far as, like, I mean, I just focus on, I prioritize protein, I fill up on fat, and then the rest is sort of now I'm at the point, especially in my healing, in my body, like I'm pretty flexible. I can even enjoy ice cream once in a while, but I don't, I keep it, changes cravings, or I start something's different, then I, way off. But as far as fruit goes, I mean, if I had an apple tree, which I've done, I was on vacation this year and on the island, and there was this apple orchard, and I tried a couple apples. It was good. I didn't really enjoy them, to be honest with you, but it was like there on a tree. I'm a big believer in sort of working with what you can do. I mean, if you have some serious autoimmune stuff, you're probably going to have to be a hell of a lot more strict than somebody who's, I've been doing this for 5 years now. I don't really sweat the small stuff. If my mom makes a salad, I'll eat it, mostly for the olive oil and vinegar, because I love the dressing. But I mean, I don't think that it does any damage per se, but I think that's very nuanced in your own. But I tend to just focus on, meat and fat. I'll eat fish. I'll eat, if it's good poultry from a properly raised farm, or pork in that matter too. But I mean, I just kind of just go with intuition. And sometimes I get a craving for seafood, because I think there's something there about the omega-3 factor. Mm-hmm. So I'll go have sashimi, or I'll have raw oysters or something, but I'm not a big fan of seafood, but that's kind of the way I operate. And I mean, everybody's got to find their own way. And I do believe that, sometimes this dogmatic carnivore card gets a little extreme. And I think there's a good, better, best usually in everything. I try and just feel, so sometimes I'll eat more, sometimes I'll eat less. I don't really focus on meal times. I kind of eat if I feel like eating, and I stop when I'm done. Yeah. That's kind of the way I go.
So intuitively, you just eat intuitively. Yeah. That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah. What about you, Jenny?
I'd say I'm a pretty traditional carnivore. So I don't really deviate much, purely for the purpose that I just don't care to. I've never had issues with fruits or anything like that. I just don't crave them, so I don't eat them. I optimally will eat mostly red meat. I actually don't consume a lot of butter. I do eat white meat sometimes, like chicken or turkey here and there, or fish or seafood infrequently, but I will eat it. Other than that, sometimes I'll add onions. I used to add garlic. I haven't in quite some period of time. My background is Eastern European, so I tend to do quite well with those things, and I do well with dairy, but I'm not eating it at the moment. I came into carnivore with some weird autoimmune and probably like diverticulitis and SIBO and things like that. So I sort of stuck with what made me feel good. And that seems to just be, I'm your run-of-the-mill standard old, I eat meat. I don't really eat eggs anymore. I don't know. I go on and off. I'm intuitive like Tony. If I feel like eating eggs, I'll eat them. If I feel like eating dairy, I will. But generally, it's pretty much just meat every day. I don't add much to it. Salt. Gotcha. I got my salt beside me. Salt every day. I'm the boring one.
Oh, you're not boring.
I don't think that's kind of I think where the idea is to get to the place where you're in control, and you're in, like, what makes you feel good. I mean, we take that for granted everywhere, right? And everybody has their ideas, but if it doesn't make you feel good, it's not personal. When I'm working with clients and they're like, I can't not eat that. It's like, well, that's what's telling you that, is it your body, or is it your family history, or is it culture?
Yeah. That's something I come across with a lot of people. There was even a gentleman last night. So I was at my dance class last night, and it was an extended class. And about the last week of every month, they do like a whole, everybody brings food and they set everything up. And it's kind of like this, you're hanging out and you're dancing and you're gathering. And he noticed last night, he said, Selina, you never eat anything when you're here. And I was like, I don't try to make it obvious. Like, I don't try to make it a point of, oh, by the way, I'm not eating all the crap you're bringing. But, I'm like, right. I'm just like, oh, I said, there's really not a whole lot of things that I eat outside of what I make for myself. And just kind of trying not to, like, And now let me bash you in the head with how much shit you're eating.
We're opposite people.
Yeah.
I'm the most annoying person on the face of the planet to be around.
Well, it was
I'm
you
sure.
know, because he was like, well, what do you eat? Like, what do you make at home? And I was like, well, like ground beef and steak and eggs, mostly a lot of yolk. He was just like waiting, and I'm like, and water and salt. And he just looked at me, he goes, well, where do you get your vegetables? I said, well, I don't. I just don't. And he starts asking me questions, and that's usually when they're willing to like kind of start being like, wait a minute, then I kind of like lean in a little more, like, oh yeah, come on, come talk to me.
Yeah.
And he started telling me about some of these health concerns that he's got going on, and he's already in it like a compromised position because he has an organ transplant. So he basically has to stay on these like that medication that forces your body to not automatically reject, but he's starting to show symptoms of rejection, and this is like a year later. And I was like, wow. I was like, I don't know what would be beneficial to you exactly. I said the only thing I could offer in potential is I would really consider just removing carbs, sugars particularly, and just kind of see how you feel. Like, and I never mentioned the word carnivore the whole time. I just kind of, like, these are things that can help. And he was like, yeah. And he goes, but Selina, my wife made me a homemade apple pie. Do you know how often I get homemade apple pie? And I'm like, and there's that addiction consideration mindset of like, oh, I said, yeah. I said, I used to make a lot of those too back in the day. I said, but I realized that they weren't helping me heal.
Yeah.
And he just kind of like looked at me for a second, and I'm like, and I'm going to go dance now. I'll let you sit with that.
Yeah.
Like, what do you?
That's freaky because,
That's a beautiful way of saying it, though, Selena.
yeah, the body needs nutrition.
Sorry, go ahead.
We still need nutrition, and that's the catch-22 is, I think that comes down to our programming and indoctrination of everything's just okay, just eat less of it.
Yeah.
And it's those things where if we were educated in school, like making better bad choices and just understanding that this stuff is not doing anything good for you,
Yep.
we would change our outlook. And I just find like your example there, Selina, like we hold on to those things that we think are okay, but we're doing it 6 times a day. And I think that's the difference now. And it's so horrible, like having an organ transplant and dealing with like the possibility of rejection. What do? You get scared into all these things, but it's sad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is sad.
So I'm curious, and I'm going to kind of like switch gears here a little bit if I can, guys. Christian, I am unbelievably curious as to what was your initiation into your eyes wide open. There's a whole lot of bullshit going on.
Yeah.
What the hell are we being fed? Not just food wise, but just information wise, because you touch base on a lot more than just your diet. Obviously, that's kind of like a very big factor and a leading concept that usually kind of starts leading you into a bunch of other directions of going, oh shit, what's going on in the world? What was that shift that kind of caused you to kind of like wake up to the reality of not everything is as it seems?
Yeah. Well, I've been going down the rabbit hole on certain topics for a long time. My uncle, who is no longer with us, he was basically my Morpheus. He was the Morpheus to my Neo. And my uncle struggled with health issues for a long time. He was obese for the majority of his life. But he was always like he was always questioning everything. he didn't question diet and nutrition as much as he should have. Up until his later years, he actually got diagnosed of Alzheimer's at the age of 39, which is very young. And his father, which is my grandfather, also got it at the age of 52. They ultimately both passed away. But my uncle I was very close to my uncle. He was like a brother to me, and a father figure at the same time. And, seeing him deteriorate, since 2014, for the course of he passed away in 2023, over the course of a decade, it really opened up my eyes having to relive seeing Alzheimer's at such a young age in my family. First with my grandfather, his father, and then him. And, seeing the disease and just kind of just seeing it progress very fast. And, the lifestyle choices that he made kind of made me very introspective throughout the past, like I said, decade or so. So, it came to the point where in 2019, he was very, like, his cognition was not there. He was still capable of walking, but you kind of had to instruct him on where to go. And this is a 41, 42-year-old man. He just didn't know how to communicate. He would stutter. He'd still joke around with me, but it wasn't, there was nothing cohesive that he was able to say that was able to come out of his mouth. And it was this one day where I took him shopping. I was young. I was in my early 20s. I'm 30 now. But I took him.
Look very young.
Yeah. Well, I'll explain. I did not feel young at that time. I was 23, 24 when this incident happened. And basically, it was me, my grandmother, and him. He was in the passenger seat of my car. We had driven to Walmart just to go grocery shopping. And, I was always kind of just like, kind of aware of what to eat. I would always avoid, GMO foods, always shop organic, kind of just do like a whole food diet, which, for some people it works, for other people, it's a little bit harder. But, I was always into shopping smart, you could say, since my early 20s. And so basically we pull up to the Walmart, and he's in the passenger seat of my car, and he just has a seizure. He starts having a seizure in the passenger seat of my car. And as he's seizing, seizures are not a pretty sight at all. And this is something that I've already seen with his father, with my grandfather. And so I'm like, oh my God, this is like super traumatizing. Like, he's seizing, and I got my grandmother, screaming and crying in the back of the car. His mom seeing it happen all over again, first with her husband and now with her own son at such a young age. And I'm like, holy moly, this is like not good. Like, I can't believe that this is happening. It's like a version of hell for her and for me. I mean, like, the guy, I was like super close to him. And so, yeah, he basically had a seizure. Ambulance came within 5-10 minutes. His blood pressure was through the roof. They couldn't really identify what was happening to him, only that his blood pressure was high. And so, and what's ironic is that they took him to the ambulance, and they injected saline salt, which is basically the cause of high blood pressure from the get. But anyway, they rolled him out, and from the time that he got to the hospital, he was screaming, like just screaming in agony, nonstop, screaming nonstop. And he was in severe pain, but nobody could know why. Like, I mean, I know seizures do cause some kind of pain after the fact, but he was just screaming nonstop, and he couldn't communicate. From that point on, he lost his ability to walk by himself. And then, just seeing all that happen, my mom was also going through stage 3 metastatic breast cancer. My girlfriend of 6 years decided to end the relationship. And so all these things piling up all at once were like, it was like a shock to my system. That, and I was also on stimulants. I was on Adderall. I was on 20 milligrams of Adderall at the time. And I feel like something happened in me. That was the only medication I ever took. And I would, partake in other, recreational substances. But, it was at this time where something happened, and I was a bartender at Whole Foods at the time, beer and wine only. And one morning I just couldn't walk. I woke up, I couldn't walk. My hip was in severe pain. I was in a state of constant pain, and I couldn't walk. Something had happened in my body that all the stress kind of triggered it. And so what I ended up doing was I ended up going to the doctors, actually the hospital, to see what the heck was going on. They took an x-ray of my hip. Nothing was there. Nothing came out. They gave me, prednisone, which is like a steroid, I believe, like an oral prednisone. Yeah, just to kind of keep that stuff at bay, the pain at bay. And I was able to go to work, but, the pain would resume at night, and I didn't know what was going on in my body. So then I went down the rabbit hole of like, hey, like, what do I have? What is going on with me? And then I started to look at like different autoimmune conditions, and, just went down the rabbit hole. So I went to another doctor, and they did some tests. They did the ANA test for autoimmunity. And of course, I scored positive. From there, she basically referred me to a rheumatologist. I didn't go to the rheumatologist because I already knew what I had, and I knew what I had to do about it. And so that led me down the rabbit hole of the keto diet. And so in 2019, I did the keto diet. Within 1 week of quitting prednisone and doing the keto diet, all the symptoms were gone. No pain in the joints, no arthritic pain. It turns out I have psoriatic arthritis, which is kind of like the final boss of psoriasis, which is a skin condition. I still have like little spots every now and then whenever I get stressed out, but I used to have it all over my scalp. I used to have it on my elbows. It was never really patchy or bad, but it is an inherited kind of like autoimmune condition that you get from your parents. And if you treat your body poorly, especially, throughout your upbringing and, what I ate, I was overweight as a kid growing up. I'm sure all that stuff did a lot of damage to my gut. Leaky gut syndrome is the cause for a lot of autoimmune problems. And so, all those, tiny little perforations in my gut likely triggered psoriasis, which then led to the major stress event that triggered psoriatic arthritis. And so doing the keto diet really opened up my eyes. And then I started going down the rabbit hole of nutrition and what we were meant to eat as humans, and why people are having all these issues. And then from then, I just kept going down the rabbit hole, and I'm still going down the rabbit hole. And so, yeah, that's a long story short of what really triggered me into pursuing education on nutrition. Just really, like I said, just exploring and diving deep and still learning and just reading a lot of reading. There was a book that I read called The End of Alzheimer's, which was my primary driver for learning more about the disease. And it turns out Alzheimer's and a lot of cognitive diseases are actually type 3 diabetes. And yeah, so that's essentially, like, long story short, layman's terms of what I went through and how I got here. And yeah.
Well, it's what humans are supposed to eat. Hey, isn't that a funny one? Everybody there, and it's like, like, I just remember that. I remember the day that I was like, how were we so wrong? I was in nutrition, studying to be a nutritionist, and I was like, this is all, bullshit. This is all wrong. And they're contradicting themselves at every step. You need complete protein. The amino acids are essential, but don't eat meat. What? That just doesn't make sense. And
that's another big thing, right? Is that the demonization of meat is something that I looked at. I'm like, this is such bullshit, bro. Like, I can't believe that like people are actually buying this. The one food that our brains doubled in size, ancestrally, like, it's mind blowing to me how people still especially the vegan cult, still accepts this ideology, and thinks that they're saving the animals by not participating. It's just
And
so
it's funny how they separate it, right? Like they talk about whether it's ethics or the planet. They separate from actually the whole point of it's nutrient dense. It's good for humans. If you choose not to eat it, that's your prerogative. But I mean, just that, and I feel the same way, Christian, because like studying this stuff, and I know I'm sure Jenny and Selena, you guys are the same way. Like it's like, what the hell is going on? Which opened up every other rabbit hole I've ever been down with everything in this world.
Yeah.
Every single thing I question now, and it's like from we're tinfoil hat time. We're from Antarctica to religion to history. Everything is like, what? What's going on?
Yeah.
And every time, I start learning about the history of food and how and it's like, what the heck? It's pretty mind blowing, man. And it
is, man. It really is. It's like we've been lied to in every direction, and like that's the goal of my video content, like the videos that you see on Instagram, is to kind of dumb down basically everything that we have learned all together collectively and show it to people in a creative fashion. That's something that not a lot of people have really done in the Instagram short form content space. And I feel like that's gonna wake up a lot of people to the issues that we're facing. And one in particular from the recent video that I did was the Charlie Kirk shooter, and how a lot of the younger generations are very low testosterone and are very easily manipulated, and it kind of creates like this hive mind persuasion kind of like echo chamber,
and your brain's not working. If your brain's not getting nourished, what do you think is happening? Like it's easy to see these erratic behaviors or emotional, like completely freakouts because their brains aren't nourished, and when they're not nourished, they're not working properly. And it's, I've noticed that. I don't know about you guys, but somebody said this, and it might have been Brian of the carnivore community. It was like this carnivore clarity happens, and it's in my opinion, that's because all of the stuff is working up there.
And not to get political, like I think that everyone deserves a chance, and a place to really improve themselves. And I think that there's just a lot of confusion and noise these days, from all these institutions, and it's very sad. It's very sad. And when I go down these rabbit holes, it's like, it's like, hello, it's like right in front of you,
Yeah,
but,
that's
you want to shake people, like.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jenny.
Selena.
Yeah.
I was just going to say something.
I don't know. I was just going to say, I just want to shake people. That's all. The whole point. I want to shake everybody and be like, wake up.
Oh, Jenny, I feel you like that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I feel like one of the constructive ways is by educating them through a very creative and high dopamine format. Right.
Well, there you go.
Because a lot of people, if you look at my content, like, and not to like repeat it, but like, a lot of people, when they're scrolling through short form, which is a lot of people, I think Instagram just announced that they have 3 billion users active on their platform right now, which is the biggest that it's ever been. People are consuming short form content like crazy. And when you kind of dumb it down and simplify concepts, I feel like that'll help make more people question, and turn that little light bulb on in their head. But,
yeah, well, sometimes my way doesn't work too well, and I'm been known to rant a little bit and rave, and it's like I get people saying, "Why are you swearing so much?" It's because I'm fucking frustrated.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I'm watching you harm yourself.
We need all voices, though.
Yeah.
We need it in all capacities, right? We need to be out in the world, kind and gentle, the way Selina goes about it. We need to be awful and aggressive and annoying the way I go about it. We need Tony's voice with like swearing. We need Christian's work with like, oh my God. You weren't I was at a wedding last weekend. I'll give you a quick story on that. So I was in a wedding last weekend, and obviously I was a bridesmaid. So I was there the whole day through hair and makeup and everything else. And I brought my own food. And so I talk openly and aggressively about what and why I live like this and all of the random conspiracy things that are going on around us all the time, because I won't stop talking, because I'm Tony 2.0. So I'm there and I'm at the dance portion, and I don't know about everybody else. I don't drink. So I was outside and I ended up just making a comment about how, as a relatively alpha female, I don't wish to date non-alpha men. For me, I think men and women have complementary roles in relationships, blah, 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 blah. So some guy overhears me and he asked me, he's like, so have you ever dated a beta guy? And I said, yeah, it was a nightmare for us both. It was terrible for everybody. Like, I abused them. It was abusive to me. It was awful across the board. I end up in a conversation with this guy who's lost 80 pounds through the keto diet. And we end up down this terrible rabbit hole of whatever. Anyways, he's now following and sent me a message like 2 days ago saying, you know what, I'm going to convert to carnivore. And he said, to me, listening to you. And he's like, and I think 99% of the people there thought you were crazy. But he was like, the 1% who got you were like moths to a flame to listen to you talk. And he said, you know, your message really, he's like, I've stagnated on my diet. He's working with a nutritionist. He's working with a personal trainer. He just couldn't get through. And he said, seeing you not break, the only person here not drinking, the only person here not eating cake, the only person here not eating the late night McDonald's. And he was like, and I know people are questioning you, but he's like, to me, it's elite. And he was like, I want to be like that. I want to learn from people like you. And I was like, wow, that's cool. My annoying ways got through to somebody. This is great. But, you know, if you can help one wake up, just one.
For sure.
To food.
Well, you can always domino effect.
You touched on something, Jenny, too, which is a little bit controversial nowadays, too, is that, you know, we've all heard of toxic masculinity and, you know, like the misogynistic ways of the, I believe in the same thing in the spiritual sense. Like we have to, as men, embrace the divine feminine, but be masculine.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of been like in the media and diets, nutrition strips away that. Like, I don't think the soy boy diet is manly. And
it's
it
not.
kind of.
And here's the like other hand to that whole concept is there is a complete misunderstanding about masculinity and misogyny.
Yeah.
There's not the same thing. And a lot of people are not educated enough in understanding what one is versus the other. And through lack of education, they go, oh, these things are the same. And so this is horrible. And it's like, no. That's not the same. And I'm not, I don't know that I would call myself a feminist by any means. I would say probably a balancist. Let's make up.
Yeah, that's good, right? Like, you have to acknowledge the fact that it is two different energies, and
exactly.
you know, and you are like, to be a beautiful soul. It's okay to be a man. It's okay to be a woman. But I feel for men too, like dealing with a lot of women and my partner with endometriosis and the hormonal cascade, and like I've apologized openly as my past, going, you know, all through my life going, oh, women are PMSing, they're emotional, now that I understand the hormones a little bit more, and I've seen firsthand suffering. Holy shit, I'm sorry. And men need to step up and be men for their women, you know, and I think it's time that we have to, you know, not shame anything and just acknowledge it for what it is. And man, the divine feminine, all guys out there, I'm sorry, boys, but you have it. You have to, you know,
it is a balance. It's a balance through and through.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing as, and I lost a number of followers the other day because I made a post saying being a man isn't toxic. But I backed up saying as well, being a woman isn't weak, right?
No.
We look at that as well. I have a number of friends who, like, I love to cook and clean. I love to take care of a partner. I think it's nice. I also love to be a powerhouse in my business. Those two things exist for me. But I like to play a feminine role in my home. And I have friends who are like, oh, but Jenny, you're such a like force to be reckoned with. You're such a big personality. How do you get on your knees and clean your floor? And I was like, it gives me pride. I don't know. I feel great about cleaning my home. Why can't I be divinely feminine and powerful in my work environment? But you see this misconception. I mean, it is really such a rabbit hole to go down, but we know people are sick, like physically their estrogen and their testosterone levels are bad. And because of that, there's this skewed hatred and misunderstanding about what each of those things represent. There's nothing wrong with women and men being complementary. It doesn't make either weak or the other strong. It's their complementary roles, and it's fine.
And the tinfoil hat, they want to destroy the nuclear family. They want to destroy that whole idea of partnerships that are like you're doing the things that you're instinctively, arguably designed to do. There's nothing wrong with that. A dad being a dad and a mom being a mom, and obviously respecting each other and doing the things that you instinctively know is good. And I mean, come on, guys, like we love our moms. There's a reason. They're necessary. So, this whole thing about, and I mean, I'm sorry, but I walk down the street and I see these guys and I'm like, I can almost guarantee you your diet by the way you're handling yourself on the street. And it's like, and I'm sorry, I'm calling it out, but I'm calling it out.
Yeah.
It's God's true though, Tony. For a woman, you can't even open the door, man. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for going there, but I mean, it's you can just
it's true.
I don't think I've heard you apologize so much in one conversation, Tony.
Yeah, stop apologizing.
Well, this is calling out to all the boys.
I was just saying,
I'm to be a man.
It's time to, okay, listen, a few weeks ago, I was at a store and I'm at the bottom of the stairs and I see this elderly woman with a heavy cart. And I can tell she's trying to figure out how to get up the stairs. And I watch 4 or 5 men walk boys, soy boys, walk past this one, not one. I went over to her and I said, can I carry your cart for you? And she looked, no, it's so heavy. It's so heavy. And I said, it's okay. That's why we work out. And I lifted her cart and I took it up the stairs and she came to the top. She hugged me, gave me a kiss on the cheek. And she said, every day God sends you an angel if you just know where to look. And I then probably cried for like 5 minutes. But it was like, how did 5 men, where in your, like, I'm a woman. And I immediately was like, help another person. 5 men who were very strong, capable men walked right past this elderly woman. And I was shocked.
I had a very similar situation happen not too long ago. Actually, it was when I went to go purchase this chair that I'm sitting in right now, which is a very heavy based, like I specifically, because it's like a bar height computer chair. So it's not short. So I wanted a heavy base, weighted base, so that it's not easily toppled over. Because if my 3-year-old comes in here, I don't want him to try to climb up it and it easily tip over. And I bought it off Marketplace. This woman was wonderful. I go meet her at her house, and her driveway is one of those, like, you can't see as you're backing down because the hill is so steep. And I walk up the driveway and she's like, oh, honey, I'll bring this to you. And I'm like, it's okay. I don't mind. I can come get it. Mind you, she's probably every bit in her 70s. And I'm like watching her try to struggle to get this chair maneuvered out of the garage. And I'm like, I've got it. I'm like, you don't even have to move it. Like, I can come get it. It's no problem. And as I get closer, I notice her husband is sitting on the staircase, like from the garage to the inside the house, just sitting there watching her struggle. And he looks fully capable. And
I'm like, you eat vegetables, don't you?
But is he though?
And I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah. So I walk over. I said, ma'am, please, if you don't mind, let me get this. I don't want to see you struggle, and I definitely don't want to see you hurt. And she's like, but it's same thing. But it's so heavy, honey. I said, you know what? I lift a 3-year-old 20 times a day. I'm sure I'll be fine. And she was like, okay. I lift it with one hand because, of course, obviously I do more than lift a 3-year-old all day. But I lift it with
Selina's
one hand.
Weirdly strong.
And I start walking out, and she's just like, oh. And I look over. I said, yeah, it's amazing when you do men work. Her husband was just like,
Selena, that's racist.
I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry, but like you're sitting there just watching your wife, like she almost fell twice trying to get it like maneuvered out. I'm like, this is insane. What is this? What is this? Madness.
I've been yelled at for holding
this is
the door
what we
open.
need Christian's content for.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
this is it.
I
But
mean,
this is
yeah, I
like,
think
this is why I love your content, Christian. Like,
I appreciate it. Yeah, no,
I
it
think it's
really means a lot. I think that hypergamy is dying, and a lot of people, a lot of women are seeing men as like something that they don't want to pursue, or at least not worth spending time on, and they've lost a lot of attraction for men because of what they've been doing, and I've been through bouts of that in my early 20s. It's been a wake up call for sure. I think that they're men and women are complementary opposites, and the masculine man is something that needs to be revitalized in today's society.
Well,
Because if it's not, then it's the end of society.
Yeah, just think about the yin yang. There's a little bit of each other, and it's right there. It's the and I don't think the media and our governments are helping at all, which doesn't make it easier. So, Christian, your content to try and relate to the younger people with impact is
for sure.
That's
my objective. Yeah.
If I look at the ridiculousness, like it's just I can't even believe they're having these conversations in the matter that they're having them, whether it's the woke agenda or the government regulations. It's like, holy
I know, man. It's scary stuff. Like, yeah, doing this recent video, it's really opened up my eyes, man. Like, yeah.
That's one I've been rabbit holing on too. So it's I'm sure we all have, but
so I haven't seen it. But what is
it's quite it's like
so it's basically an assessment of Charlie Kirk's shooter. And it just dives deep into like the rabbit hole of like, I'm portraying Dexter. I don't know if you guys Dexter fans?
Oh man, I am a weird fan.
Believe me, I've wanted to light up a couple kill rooms in my life.
I might be Dexter. So
Dexter. Love it.
That's awesome. No, so like I've been rewatching it with my girlfriend at the time being. Like we're watching like the original Dexter. We started with the prequel series that they did, and now we just jumped onto the original. I'm rewatching it for like the third time. I love the show, and so like this is kind of just like a tribute to Dexter that I've been doing. I've only done 2 videos on it. The first one was on seed oils, and I'm kind of like holding up like a glass slide, with the seed oil on it. Yeah. And then now this one is kind of just like me watching TV and just hearing about Charlie Kirk's. I'm in my kill room with the saran wrap and a knife in my mouth.
I like how you were holding the knife. I was just like,
I can't wait.
Yeah, I was definitely in character. And yeah, just basically like just going down the rabbit hole of like, I noticed that he has a sloping forehead, hypothyroidism, missing eyebrows. And then I go to the computer and I basically go down the rabbit hole of like, the reason why he could potentially, have been coerced into doing what he did by something or someone, probably an organization. I do think that the assassination is very suspect. I think that, there's a lot of pieces of the puzzle that still haven't come together yet. Very odd. But I think that the foundational thing here, the big takeaway is that, if you look at the recent mass, I'm not going to say the word for censorship purposes, but they're very weak, frail, very like feminine, sometimes even transitioning, a lot of mental health issues, and a lot of mental health issues can be addressed by proper nutrition and by proper, obviously, environment, and just go outside, like literally spend days outside. I think that a lot of our problems would a lot of the problems that modern society has would just be to reconnect with nature and be outside more. I feel like we've just become so disconnected from it that we've become so disconnected from ourselves, and
Our
and take
physical
it from me,
bodies
like,
dysregulate.
yeah. Take it from me. Like, I'm a big gamer. Like, I was a big gamer. I used to spend hours playing video games. I think that could probably be why, like, I'm able to like edit content and like really get big into like the creation side of things, because I've been a big gamer for like the majority of my upbringing, which, has its cons for sure, which I've mitigated. But like, I think that there's a time and place for modern tech, and like, reconnecting with nature. I feel like having that healthy balance would definitely help people be less confused, because that's what our biology is telling us. It's confused, and how can you enable that? How can you enable that as a society? You know what I mean? That's so wrong, especially on children. How can
you deny it?
It's promoted.
Yeah, I know.
It's
That's what I'm saying. Like, how can you promote something so damn? Like, kids don't even know.
It's encouraged.
When you have a society that is functioning with low testosterone, talking men and women, because people forget women need testosterone as well, people. So just newsflash, in case nobody knows that, who's watching this video later on. When you have low testosterone, you have a group of people who are more subservient, who are less decisive, and more willing to comply, because they do not have the frontal lobe capabilities to be able to make conscious, concise decisions. And when you can't make decisions, you usually hand that ticket over to somebody else. Please help me. I don't know what to do. And when you don't know what to do, you don't have control of your own sovereignty. And what better to have than a nation who is controllable, who is malleable, who is manipulatable?
Yep. And that's exactly what we're seeing.
That ties into beef. That ties into MK Ultra. That ties into like the market things. The blue light toxicity is a thing. I'm staring at a screen being that guy, but it's true. I mean, if you look at how these screens were made, they're made to distract and disrupt. And it's, if you acknowledge that, and you can work with it. But I think a lot of people are in denial. They refuse to believe that the sun is the most important thing in our universe, where, just looking at the sun in the morning, it's beneficial. Like, just go and try, even in the cloudy days. But it's wild how they push back and they don't realize it. And you, Christian, saying that you're a gamer, coming to realize that nature is still, we need it,
we need it.
That. And I'm not saying everybody should just go move into their caves, but I mean, obviously technology is great. It's the reason why we can talk today, but there's a balance. And in my opinion, the further you get away from nature, you need to get back to nature.
For sure.
Are sedentary, inside, no light, no grounding, and then what do you think your body's going to do?
Absolutely. No. Well, I think that desperate times call for desperate measures. And when you're, when you get diagnosed with such a terrible disease, such as Alzheimer's, for example, or any other, like deathly disease, I think that the best thing that you could do, and I tell this to the people that I love, the people that are around me, the people that support me, if I ever catch some kind of disease, which, knock on wood, Alzheimer's is in my family, strip me away from everything indoors, put me outside, let me do a 30-day fast, and then I'll see you in 30 days. Like, keep me hydrated, let me get the most amount of sun. I will stay outside when there's lightning and thunder outside. I will survive. I will be okay. And when I come back, we'll see if I still forget shit. But
honestly, it sounds so, and I tell people the same thing, man. I'm like, if you're hurting, if you hurt yourself, get your feet on the ground as long as possible, on the grass or on the earth. And it's wild how those things are they're free, they're simple, and yet people like, oh, that's so stupid. Okay, then heal yourself on your computer chair in your.
Listen, I have never received more hate than one comment I made. Oh, sorry, Tony. My thing cut off, and I cut you off talking.
No. Go ahead.
Am I gone? You guys can hear me. Okay. Sorry.
You're good.
I was going to say, I've never received so much hate. One comment, I know Selina knows the comment I'm going to talk about. It's, I told people that I don't use my phone for the first hour of the day and the last hour of the day. It was a simple comment. And I have never been ripped to shreds on the internet besides that comment. People were
Absurdly so.
triggered by this. And I was like, I wake up, I drink water, I do my workout, I'm fasted, I go outside. People lost their minds. People lost their minds. It was insane. I had to end up going on Instagram and like blocking people from being able to mention me who don't follow me in comments.
Really? Ooh,
because it got so crazy. Yeah, it was nuts. I don't know why that one, out of all the controversial things I've said, like,
because I think that's
the one
thing
that
that
everybody, but they went
wild. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
but like I don't have a TV in my room.
Yeah.
Well, and people were like, "You're a liar. You're on your phone right now." And I was like, yeah, "It's the middle of the day. I'm on my phone right now. I don't have it at night. Welcome to the magic of time."
Well, you know what's funny? You say that.
Other rabbit hole to go down. But
I was like, "Time, Jenny, really?"
We just went to Edmonton for the Alberta Carnivore meetup.
Don't start with me, Selina.
And we took the bus to the airport. We took a plane to Edmonton, and then I made a point out of watching people on the bus and in public, because I don't do it very often. But every single one of them, Jenny, at 6, we left at 6 a.m, staring at their phones, and it's like, holy cow! And I'm like, I'm happy. I'm like, I don't have to. I hate.
Which also, as a woman, I'll say it also makes me feel dangerous. Like I see women alone. I live in Montreal. I take the metro, right? I see women by themselves and I'm like, where is your situational awareness?
Totally.
You're in a public transit system in the underground, oftentimes late at night, with a cell phone and plugs in your ears.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't know if you guys heard about this whole situation that happened in North Carolina about the arena. I forgot her name, but like she was this Ukrainian girl.
Yeah.
She was on her phone. I think she was wearing headphones, the exact situation that you're describing. And she was, her life was wrongfully taken from her, from the passenger right behind her. And,
I live in North Carolina. And so it's a really big thing. When I was telling people here, I said, you guys walk around here thinking that, oh, well, we live in this, quaint little state. And I'm like, I'm originally from California, and I grew up in Southern California in a part that even yesterday somebody said, you're not dark enough to be from there. I laughed. I'm like,
okay.
Yeah, I know. I grew up in the ghetto. But like, that's not where I live now. And I try to explain to people, I'm like, just because it's a quiet town, just because there's not a lot that you think goes on here, and you get all of this extreme information about, well, look at Texas, look at California, look at over here. And I'm like, you're not hearing the headlines from your own state because you're not paying attention to them. The shit happens here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
sure.
like, and not just that it happens here, it's more readily to happen here because nobody's paying attention.
Yeah.
It makes me think of something too during the pandemic, like actually a motivating factor for me to get healthy. But even, before I started my low carb health journey, I couldn't move. I couldn't run upstairs. I was, really fat, really in a lot of pain. And as I started getting healthier and moving better during the pandemic, I was looking around going, I want to be better. I want to be able to run away from anything. I want to be able to defend myself in the situation. Like I was looking at the world shutting down, but I was, in my weird brain was thinking if everything went off and people were trying to take things from people because they wanted to survive, I don't want to be on the receiving end of being weak. And that was, I'm not trying to say anything bad about anybody else, but I was like, I want to be stronger. I want to be able to protect myself in a situation where, I would never thought to close schools down and do that stuff. And all of a sudden you're living it. You're realizing it. Holy cow. I don't want to be weak in this time.
Mm-mm. Yeah, now's not a good time to be weak. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like you're saying, Selena, it's
More-
everywhere, man. It's everywhere. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Canada, Jenny, you know this. Like, our crime rates and everything is just off the handle. And in good old jolly easygoing Canada, it's crazy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, look, I was raised by a cop. My dad was an officer, and he taught me from a young age, like, you're going to be small. Let's make sure you're not weak. And so my dad would teach me how to like break zip ties. So if somebody zip tied me, he taught me how to snap a zip tie. He taught me, like, probably like over prepping, but cop dad. But I consider those things because I'm like, look, I'm on foot alone as a woman all the time. I weigh 120 pounds. I'm not a large human being. But I'm like, but I will tell you, I can fight most people, and I'm prepared for that. Like,
I do
I'm
not
good to
know
go.
that.
And it's not that I want to, but
Hmm.
yeah, like, I don't want to be in a fight-based situation. I'd prefer not to, but I want to be in my most optimal, like, you know, I weightlift super strong. I train in martial arts. I want to be in a position where I am prepared as a woman with situational awareness. I don't sit with people behind me. I don't sit with my back to the door.
Yeah.
I watch people. I watch who's around me. I perceive things. And I'm prepared if somebody gets too close to me to defend myself if I need to.
Mm.
Because you don't know. We don't know where the world is going. We do not know where the world is going. And I live in
For
Canada
sure.
and I can't have a gun. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Right. They're
Yeah.
taking those away from us systematically, right? Like, it's just, yeah. And you know what's
Yeah,
fun?
like,
This is
if
completely
someone
off
breaks
topic.
in my house and I hurt them, I'll go to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Selena, you have something?
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say, is that whole like concept, and I'm probably about to lose a bunch of followers myself right now. That whole concept of, you know, people not understanding that, you know, guns don't kill people, people kill people concept, like the same thing, you know, if the fork doesn't make you fat, it's your choice. Like, and
Yep.
I have seen so many posts in the last like couple months where people are arguing the opposing concept that no, well, you know, guns do kill people. And I'm like, no. If you lay the gun right there, is it's gonna pull the trigger by itself?
No.
It's gonna, like, somebody had to make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
A person did.
In Canada, we have this thing in our laws that, like, say, okay, we can all just put this thought experiment out there right now. Do you have the right to defend your family and your home? Okay, say yes, you do. But why is 19 stipulations to say that you have to go through this checklist to make sure that it's okay to defend your family interests? That's Canada. So there was somebody in our government that was trying to say, no, it's in the heat of the moment. Obviously, you should have the right to protect your family and home. And they're arguing against it. Like, okay, so if a judge sees that you didn't go through these 9 criteria for checklists to be able to not be, that's how ridiculous it is. And where we're at.
Somebody's like,
Sorry,
trying
Robert, can you hang on 2 seconds?
Yeah,
Let me get my
I gotta think
checklist.
about this. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I think if I remember correctly, I think there's a law in Florida, and I don't know if you're familiar with this one or if it's still one, but I believe it is, where if you shoot somebody defending yourself in self-defense or defending your home, that they will consider it, oh, what is it? They might not consider it self-defense if you did not completely unload the clip. Because if you didn't completely unload the clip, then you obviously were not scared enough for your life, and so therefore it was probably not self-defense.
I'm not sure if that's Florida.
I thought it was
will
Florida.
say, yeah, they just passed open carry. I believe it was yesterday in Florida.
So maybe it's shifted.
Yeah, I think that might be another state. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, either way, I mean, yeah, like it's evidence for you to show authorities that, you know, the intent was to protect and to kill, shoot to kill, and not to, like, you know,
Right.
just to murder. But I think that, like, yeah, I think that having a weapon, I own a firearm, you know, just I have 2 little little kids. I have a 5-year-old and I have a 3-year-old. I have a 2-year-old, and like it's just, you know, you never know what could happen. You know, it's the one surefire way, no pun intended, to really take down someone that tries to impede on your domain, you know. So like I think that there's nothing wrong with owning a weapon. I'm all for it, you know. I think that if you strip away weapons from people, they can't defend themselves from the bad guys. It's not, stripping guns away from people is not going to get rid of guns. As a matter of fact, the bad guys could probably have more guns than the good
bad
guys.
guys don't follow.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's
bad guys
such
are
a
following laws.
Yeah.
right.
Well, I never was a gun, like being up in Canada. I never understood and never really thought about why guns would be appropriate in the capacity of the states. And as this whole, you know, the last 5-6 years have sort of come apart, holy cow, the right to bear arms comes into mind. Like the government systematically taking away our rights. That one, I understand now why that. You could think back in the American Revolution when they were like, no, England, stay away because we want to protect ourselves from you. Now I get it, and I've totally switched my. You know, I don't want to say that I like to think of myself as a rational thinker, but now I've completely, especially with our government, Jenny, just coming hard for ours. It's interesting how I've changed about that.
It really is. I mean,
I was always like that, but
yeah,
like that whole understanding of, like, you know, heroin's illegal for everybody. Is it stopping people from doing heroin? No.
Yeah.
You make guns illegal for everybody, and like you just said, do you honestly think that somebody who does not abide by the law is going to give two shits of whether or not it's illegal for them to have a gun? No. It's just common sense.
And tying it back into diet, you know, I would want somebody that is able to think and responsible for their actions in a healthy way. You know, it's a different. You just mentioned it earlier, Christian. With look who's doing these things. You know, people aren't well. They're not, you know, in right capacity. And I think it's my opinion that that's a government food guideline driven indoctrination to eat like crap, and then your brain's not working properly.
Of course, yeah.
Which is probably more insidious.
For sure. No, absolutely. I think that it all starts with what you eat and the way you're living at the end of the day. Yeah. Food and lifestyle, nutrition and lifestyle. I feel like those are the two things that you can leverage to improve your health or destroy it, you know? Yeah.
And how do you feel about the MAHA, the RFK movement right now? Like, how do you feel about that?
I think that Trump, so like, you know, Trump eats McDonald's, right? Like he eats McDonald's every day. I think that Trump is, you know, I'm not a huge like Trump fan, Trump supporter. I've been to Mar-a-Lago myself. You know, I know people that, you know, have met Trump. But with Trump, he doesn't really sound very educated when he talks about nutrition and when he talks about acetaminophen, when he talks about Tylenol. I think that we'll leave that to RFK. He sounds a little bit more well-rounded there. But in regard to Trump and like the MAHA movement, I think that it's a great thing that's happening in this country for the first time ever. You know, we're really paying attention to, like, you know, artificial food dyes, artificial ingredients, getting rid of those little by little, even though, you know, it's going to take several years for that to come into full effect by these large corporations that have adopted it for many, many years. I think that the overall, like the MAHA movement is something that has never really been done before in the United States. And I think that it's going to get us closer to where we want to be, although not as fast. But I'm just happy that there is progress going on right now. Some progress is better than no progress. And I do think that, you know, little by little, things are going to start to improve. You know, if we outlaw seed oils entirely and we promote animal fats, well-raised animal fats, I feel like, you know, sounds like a dream. But hey, you never know. Dreams might come true one day. And yeah, I'm just happy that there's some advocacy going on and that there's some auditing that's happening. The Tylenol situation is something that, it's no surprise. I mean, and it's a pain reliever. Like, what a shocker! And now you have all these fucking idiots taking, fucking Tylenol while they're pregnant, and fucking God knows doing what to the fucking to like, why, you know what I mean? That shit
Oh, it
pisses me
makes me so angry.
it
Ah!
pisses me off because like you're taking a chance, even though obviously like there's scientific literature that backs it. You're still taking a chance, and you really want to do that and make your life harder at the end if it does happen. If that baby does come out with autism because you did that to yourself, like you're really taking that chance just to prove a point on social media.
I don't understand the pushback.
Exactly.
I don't
Because it's
understand the people
illogical.
that defend it, that are like, well, that's just
So
not.
illogical.
Yeah.
So illogical.
I feel you. I'm not a parent, but I feel like, I mean, if my child was on the line, I'm exploring all options. And when I'm listening to something that's that profound, I want to be listening and paying attention, not going, oh, I have rights and I what? And it's
100%.
And here's what's crazy is the fact that acetaminophen, the potential possibility of side effect with autism and ADHD is just one of them. It's not even the worst potential side effect. I mean, neurological damage that can affect other parts of the brain that are not even associated to potentially having autism or ADHD. And you want to go, do you guys not hear that? Neurological damage. Neurological.
Yeah.
That means it could be any part of the brain. That means it could be any part of the body. And you're like sitting here, chugging the bottle of pills like you're swallowing Tic Tacs, which aren't good for you either, but even still. Even
Yeah.
still. And they're
It's
sitting
very
here
sad.
making it a fucking political movement, and you're like, it's not political, people.
No.
It's facts. There's actually like multiple institutions that came out with publicized studies, but hey, they're just gonna do what they've been doing and just driving up the autism statistics
And
even more.
I find it mind blowing that when you go to the hospital with, we'll say, a Tylenol overdose, the absolute first thing they do is pump you full of NAC and acetylcysteine. That is the antidote to this. And it's not a coincidence that during a pandemic, you couldn't buy it. You couldn't buy it on Amazon. And I know there's supplement stores here. They weren't because of that. It wasn't that it was illegal in Canada, but they stopped ordering it. What? Why is it like, it's unbelievable how these things are known. Like you just mentioned, Christian, earlier with the saline, when you're having a coronary event, they pump you full of salt.
Yeah.
It's the
Isn't that
stuff that
crazy?
they're telling you did kill. It just doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah. I wanted to, the other day, I was crossing my I's and dotting my T's, and I was like, I asked my ex, I'm like, hey, did you give, and like, did you ever take Tylenol when you were pregnant? And not that there's like evidence for it or anything, but like, on my kid's side, but I'm like, hey, I'm just thinking out loud, like, hey, did you ever take Tylenol? And thankfully she didn't. Cause I don't know if I told you this, but, we raised our kids animal based, both of us. And, she was having raw liver, raw dairy while she was pregnant, making sure she gets all the necessary vitamins throughout the pregnancy. But, sometimes pregnancy's hard, right? It's very painful. And so not that I can relate, but, I've seen it happen twice. And, some women want pain relief. And, but yeah, I think that, I was blessed that she did not take any of that stuff. So yeah, it's sad, man. Like, these people that are doing it now, and it's very upsetting, very unsettling.
It is very much so, especially when you look at some of the first studies that have come out that were released. I mean, some of them go as far back as what, 2013, 2014, and you want to go, hey guys, like this is 10 years ago. 10 years ago, information was coming out that this might be questionable. You might want to reconsider what you're doing here. I've steered away from Tylenol in my household even years and years and years. I had my first son in 2007, and I would argue with doctors all the time when they were, he would get high fevers regularly, and I would be like, yeah, I don't give him acetaminophen. I just don't. And they would tell me, well, this is the most safe thing that you could possibly give them. Okay, that's great. Well, we just try not to do this as much as possible. So if we don't have to, then I'm not going to.
Yeah.
It's better to alternate it. And you're just like, I don't know what part of if we don't have to, we're not going to, you're not getting.
But you know what, doctor? Sorry, I'm going to say it. Fuck off. I don't care if it's the safest thing. It's not natural and it's not normal. Like this, you shouldn't need a pharmaceutical drug to do anything. You know what I mean? Especially healing. And it's your child to patronize you like that. I'm not even imagine if I was a father.
Oh, yeah.
I literally ran out of a hospital one time. If you check out my reels, I ripped the IV off of my vein, and I ran out the hospital in the video because they served me Jello. Yeah.
That's a whole other one, man. Is the hospital?
Yeah, I know. That's the rabbit hole. I did another rabbit hole that I'm about to dive into is the multivitamin industry. And I partnered up with Organized Nutrition. They're they're great. It's like a beef organ supplement company. And
it's food.
So like it's food exactly. And so we're gonna go down the rabbit hole of like, little multivitamins, and compare that to like,
Well, we've even talked about, you guys are parents. I mean, when I found out about what folic acid is and how they spray it on our crops, folic acid, and then when women are pregnant, you need to take folic acid. Well, it's actually folate, and you need the natural source that's not this synthetic crap that's actually shown to be toxic. Another thing that they manipulated the studies with, which is mind-blowing.
Oh yeah. During both my pregnancies, I refused to take prenatals, and I would only take like very specific oral supplements if I took anything, like sublinguals. And I learned as a small child, my mom was very aware of, like this stuff isn't really good. We don't know where it's coming from. So I already wasn't like
that's awesome.
Very supplement based as far as, buying stuff off the shelf. And I got so much crap, not just from doctors, but from family members who were not aware, because they were like, you're harming your child because you're not getting enough, of this, and you're not getting enough of that. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that I'm protecting him from being like inundated with his soft brain tissue of a bunch of shit that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And they couldn't see it.
They spray that stuff on crops, man. Like that's where, the cereal box that says high in folic acid, that's artificial and it's put there by a spray. That's unreal.
Hey, I think Jenny.
Hey, can you guys hear me? I don't even know. My mic's been, my computer's been all jumping all over the map, and I'm cutting everybody off. Sorry. And with that said, I need to get back to work. So I'm going to head out. Christian, lovely to meet you. Tony and Selina, as always, favorite human beings.
You babe.
And I hope everybody has a beautiful rest of their day.
Thanks, Jenny. Nice to meet you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
Yeah.
Jenny's got a gun. I love it. We're not allowed to have guns, but yeah.
If you saw some of her weaponry, though.
I would not want to mess with her.
No, you don't want to be messing with her.
No.
That's awesome.
She also knows how to do archery horseback. She's pretty badass.
Oh, that's
No,
cool.
Yeah,
that's
she's
cool.
pretty badass. Just
So,
really cool.
hey,
you watch
do you guys mind touching, like you've been mentioning a couple times with the Charlie Kirk thing? I don't know what everybody feels about it, but it's one of those things that I don't think it's the media push and all the stuff that's going on. It's frightening, and
Yeah.
I think that emotional response to like just the hatred on both sides, man. It's been really kind of eye-opening, to say the least.
Well, yeah, like I've been following it very closely over the past like 2 weeks since it happened. And, you got Candace Owens on one side, talking about how like, there's much more to it, which I do think. I think
Yeah.
Candace Owens is onto something. Something about that memorial felt a little weird to me, if I'm being
Right?
honest. Yeah. The whole casket thing, like him being put in a casket like the day after or like 2 days after, I think that was a little suspect too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've heard Project Bluebeam stories of like, the whole thing being set up to be a hologram in real time to where it's
Wow.
indistinguishable from the human eye, like
Right.
it being real or not.
Yeah.
And they've
you know, I've
already
heard-
proven that on a couple of shows.
yeah. I think
Like
that we
not
have
about this particular memorial, but that it's possible to do
it's
that.
possible. Absolutely. I
Wow.
think it's absolutely possible. As a matter of fact, there's, there was this whole Project Bluebeam is also comprised of like theories on like, UFOs being in the sky and then there being a purported mass invasion of UFOs, and it changing the entire like, the entire world in the blink of an eye. I think that like, the whole Kirk thing, obviously we saw the response. This was like almost like, I wouldn't say like a 9/11 tragedy, but like, like the response was equivalent to something that, happened, 20 to almost 24 years ago. I think that like, with the whole Charlie Kirk thing, there's much more to the story. I think that the shooter did not act alone. I think that he was probably persuaded by someone, you know, and maybe he did it, maybe he didn't. I don't know. He seems a little amateur to shoot a gun like that.
Don't they typically nowadays?
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah.
Selena? I missed that.
I said, don't they typically nowadays? Like,
Yeah.
I have been around a lot of people who are in a lot of higher ups in the military, and the type of accuracy and the type of performance that he would have had to have accomplished is not, and not to be super judgy about somebody's whatever, but it just does not seem to be the caliber of marksmanship that he portrayed to have.
Yeah, not at all. I think that like, the text message logs between him and his boyfriend, I think that was really weird. It seemed artificially designed, manufactured by something or someone, I don't know. But there's definitely something here. And I think that obviously like the nutrition angle that I told in the video, I think that not a lot of people are discussing it. I did see a few posts about it from several influencers talking about like, his deficiencies and like his potential health issues that made him more susceptible to, being persuaded. At the end of the day, if he really did do it, then he does deserve what's coming. Unfortunately, that's what I believe. Like, I think that, killing someone in cold blood like that, no matter how mentally ill you are, like there's no place for you.
And I would have to agree with that for sure.
Yeah. And the same goes for like, people who exploit children, things like that, like all that, but yeah, like, it's brought a lot of divide. So many theories circulating.
Well,
you
I
got
think,
the
I think that's what I saw recently. There was like an explosive device on him, which, whatever. Yeah. But I think that whole tying it in back into nutrition and stuff, I don't trust a thing I hear anymore. Like, I don't trust it. Like, I've got my skeptical side and my rational thought and critical thinking. And it's crazy how you just see this invocation of emotion from a lot of people, like they're saying they know. And that's what I just start to go, okay, this is a mental, like a group mental thing where, listen to yourselves. You're assuming you know everything and that it is this. And it's like, wow, and that kind of shows that the mental status of the general public as well. And I mean, we're talking about the carnivore diet making your brain work better. Yeah, it's interesting how I've had these conversations with carnivores, and we're all very even keeled and just kind of trying to navigate this with some real
discernment.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that eating the way that we do, and eating predominantly animal foods, well-raised animal foods, I feel like we're checking off all the boxes in regard to what our nutrient requirements, which at the end of the day, a lot of nutrient deficiencies can cause different problems with your cognition, with your with your neurons, and with serotonin, dopamine, all these things that influence your mood and your decision making skills. And I feel like discernment is one of the biggest things that we obtain from a diet and lifestyle like this.
Nourishing your brain.
Nourishing your brain and being capable of questioning everything and making sure that you're making the right decision based on your knowledge, right? And just asking questions and not being so pigeonholed to everything that we've been taught, in the public school system. And
No doubt. Lambs had a question there, Selina. She like with that Australia owning guns. That was interesting. Hey, Lambs, how you doing, buddy? Lambs, if you guys are down ever, he's introduced me to a couple things that have like totally blown my mind. I don't know if you guys have heard of Dr. Sam Bailey. She's amazing. And then also My Lunch Break. If you ever want to go deep into some historical rabbit holes, My Lunch Break is amazing. And Lambs was the one that he kind of said, hey, you got to check this out. I've binge watched these things, and it's interesting because it's another of those things that are making you think. And it would be easy to say, oh, this is bullshit, but nothing anymore. Seems nothing's off the table anymore. So
nothing's off the table ever. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And as far as his question there with the guns rights, I think it's the people and obviously this is my opinion. I don't mean to make anybody upset, but if the people are docile, what do you think is going to happen when the government imposes a new law? And I think that the capacity of the population, the general population, I mean, look at in Canada, we're known around the world as the nice, easygoing country. Well, we've nice and easygoing ourselves into absolute. We're letting go of every single right we've ever worked hard for, and it's just it's time to not be easy and nice because our government is taking liberties, and I think that's what happened in Australia because they're the same kind of around the world. Australians are so cool and they're so not, but standing up. And I think that's what we have to follow the States with you guys. There's at least you got a strong side that are willing to stand up, like even in your history, against tyranny, to sum it up in a word. But I think it's really important.
Absolutely. I wonder what the average testosterone level of a man in Canada is.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Tony's way up there.
Low, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's something that I've thought about with being like, because you said that you're animal based, and I haven't had my testosterone checked, but I kind of feel pretty like I feel pretty good. So
you would know.
Dollars and cents, right? Like,
for
things
sure.
work.
I got mine checked just for the heck of it, and I never did it.
I would love to if our medical system would actually listen to us. And I'm like, hey, I'm in my 50s now. I would like to know my blood. Oh, you don't need that.
Well,
Really.
you can't just order blood work on your own in Canada.
No.
There's no lab that you can just
We can pay for it. We can pay for it privately. But I mean,
my
it's
test was
really,
$60 US.
no. It's funny because like actually some Alberta people, like when we're trying to get our coronary arterial calcium scores done, we just go down to the States. Like I'll go to Washington State, or some friends go to Montana or Idaho, and it's $100 test. In Canada, it took my mom a year to get the test that was issued by her GP. That's how insane it is.
Yeah. Even down here though, it gets kind of crazy. When I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, I still had to pay out of pocket for the extra panels to be done.
Yeah.
Aside from like the top 3 thyroid panels that they test, which is completely useless to really measure your hormone levels with your thyroids and all of your thyroid releases. So even with that, even with me having thyroid cancer, I still had to pay out of pocket to a separate blood testing company that specifically did that in order to be able to get all of it was
that ties into just the simple fasting insulin test. Like this is mind blowing, especially like I've been around this low carb space for about 6 years, animal based carnivore for about 4.5 plus. And the amount of awareness just with people in general and the community is growing, understanding how important insulin is. Still, doctors have no clue, and their parameters of the fasting insulin test are ridiculous. And I don't understand how it's not like, this should be a regular checkup, blood draw parameter. And it's unbelievable how they still, everybody, all my clients that I asked to ask their doctors for this, the doctors, first thing they say is you don't need it. The next thing they say, you're not diabetic. But I can see with their blood work, even if I work with them for 6 months, I can tell how their blood work's going. I'm like, you need to know your insulin levels because this is diabetes.
Of course.
You're going up. It's wild.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think insulin is one of the number one things to look out for in terms of overall health, how your pancreas responds to insulin. Yeah, absolutely. Protect the pancreas.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, and I think that insulin driving the thyroid issues and almost every single hormonal issue, that insulin, and how come we know this, and that's what frustrates me is us 3 right here. Like how many people in the world, if they saw the dangers of an elevated fasting insulin level, what they could do about it. And,
of course. And I think, CGMs and glucose monitors should be, something that people have more accessibility to.
Totally.
I feel like that'll really help people identify if they do have an insulin problem.
Well, it's mind blowing because every client that I take on, I put them on a CGM right away because I just want to see their metabolic, how their blood sugars
That's
working.
Awesome. Yeah.
And when you can start relating that to people, you have that conversation about insulin and blood work, and they can actually see their blood sugars going up and down. It's then it immediately. It's
evidence.
Got something to visually see. Holy, it does.
Yeah, you could back it up. Yeah, with the visual proof. Absolutely. I think, that's super valuable. Yeah, I think CGMs and having that data with your clients, sharing it with them, I think that there's nothing better than that. And that actually might motivate them more. I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it with my clients.
Have you guys, Selina, have you put on a CGM before? No? You've never used a CGM? It's pretty interesting. I mean, I did one for Christmas, and it was the first time I did it. I was about 2 years, just turned carnivore, and then I had a Christmas dinner, and then I ate pumpkin pie. My blood sugar went up to 15 with pumpkin pie. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, there are things that really do drive it up. And like, even raw honey, I've done a test with raw honey, and it goes up slowly, but definitely rises.
Yeah. That was the biggest one for me, was the pumpkin pie. Everything else was like kind of in control, but I was like, what the hell?
I haven't had pumpkin pie in like 3 years.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is I don't even crave this stuff. Like
Yeah.
I hear about it and I feel like you just got to find your vice somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like with nutrition in particular, like and just diet, like if it's in front of you, it's going to be a lot harder. And that's what I tell the people that I work with. Like, hey, if it's in front of you, it's going to be a lot harder. So just remove it entirely and find the vice somewhere else. Like,
well, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I gravitate to the food that makes me feel good, and it's just it's easy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we've all had these questions. How can you just do that all the time? And it's like, well,
it's not
when
normal.
When I'm feeling this good,
Yeah.
and I don't do what I do, well, it just makes more sense to keep feeling good.
For sure, yeah, and that's something that society is deemed as not normal, right? And like, I feel like we are exceptions. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
we're the heretics, right?
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard, man. Like, when you go out to eat, there's like food, like there's food with seed oils in it that you can't really. There's apps that are coming out like Seed Oil Scout, and there are apps like that let you see like processed ingredients, but. It's hard, man, just to be the difficult one in a family gathering. It's not fun.
Oh yeah.
But
When
it's all about values.
When my husband and I decided to try carnivore, like going carnivore, we started, it's almost our 1 year as far as official carnivore, which was October 14th.
That's awesome.
And
congrats.
When we started though, like, and I've mentioned this, I know Tony's heard this, we didn't even think about, we were like, we're going to do 90 days, no holds barred, just all in. And we were like, about the end of October, we were like, oh crap, Thanksgiving's coming up, Christmas is coming up. And we were like, did we really make a good decision on this? Like, was this the best time? And of course, my husband and I are both the same. We're like, well, we've already started. Like, there's no going back now. Like, we're in.
Yeah.
And,
How was your first turkey?
Oh my goodness. It was so funny because it was like, everybody was like, are you sure you don't want some of this? Are you sure? And we're like, no, we're actually good.
Yeah.
We actually don't want it. And because we had been on long enough by that time, we were already on for what, 5 weeks?
Yeah.
Where we already were like transitioning over to not craving all the crap and not wanting all the sugars and stuff. And so it was really weird to go, we actually really don't want it.
Yeah.
And that's something they don't understand.
Well, it's funny how it changes, right? Like, I mean, I walk through the grocery stores now and I like the smell of bread, but it does nothing for me. Like, I don't need it. But I remember when I first started low carb, I was like, about 2 weeks into keto, I couldn't walk through a grocery store because I'd be like smelling this bread going, ooh, I want it. Now it doesn't bother. Like, it's
because you see how you feel. Like, you just see how you feel now, and you don't want to go back to that.
Exactly.
Like that's what it feels like to me. Like, I would never want to feel the way that I felt, when I was eating that crap. No, like those 2, 3, maybe even 5 minutes of enjoyment, like in your mouth, does not make it worth it at all.
Every time I've tried to do some experiments just to test myself and see how I do now with certain things. I think the last time I had a couple bites of pasta, and I was like, the one thing I noticed the next day wasn't anything dramatic, but I was doing my normal walk down my block, like my girl and I were for a walk, and I was like, ooh, dim sum. I miss dim sum. Then I'd see the Cheesecake Factory that I was like, walk by every day and not even think about it. I'm like, ooh, I miss cheesecake. And I caught myself going, that's it. A couple bites of pasta and my brain is working differently. I was able to be aware of it, but it was pretty cool to see. Interesting. It wasn't that I couldn't control it, but it was definitely different. And it's just, a couple bites. And that was enough to do that.
For sure.
Isn't it wild? So wild. I explained to my family and people all the time, and I try to teach my kids, your brain is just a tool. It's not the master.
Yeah.
And we're taught in our societies that our brain is the master of our bodies. And I'm like, no. It's just the tool. The only thing our brain is there for is to help your physical being deduce safety.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that stove's hot. Don't touch it. Yes, that fire's hot. Don't touch it. Yes, that's a deep river. if I can't swim, don't jump in. Like the right? Like these are the things that the brain is supposed to do for our body.
Absolutely.
Oh, I need to breathe. Oh, I need to do this. It's not the master. And of course, you know, you can go down the rabbit hole. Well, what is then, right?
No,
Yeah, that's another rabbit hole.
It's the observer. It's the observer. If you can watch your thoughts and watch your feelings and be present,
Yeah.
you realize that pretty quick. And I don't think grain brains, Selina, that's for you. I don't think grain
Thank
brains
you.
can do that. They cannot handle that. They're caught on autopilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really are. Guys, I have to bow out. But it's been honestly like a privilege being here.
Absolutely.
Really
Been lovely
enjoyed
having.
our conversation, and yeah, just looking forward to coming on again.
Absolutely.
Whenever. Yeah.
Well, Christian, it's a pleasure to
Absolutely.
meet you, buddy. And I can't wait to see some of your stuff. I mean, the Dexter stuff got me. So I'm
Thanks,
love it.
guys. No, I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. We'll be in touch, okay?
Sounds good.
Absolutely. Have a
Awesome.
great day.
Bye, guys.
And
You too.
Selina, thank you. Ah.
And then there was two.
Yes. Selina, thanks for having me. Always fun.
Thank
on
you
with
so
you guys.
much. Thank you so much.
Glad to,
Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and close us out.
yeah.
So to everybody who's watching, thank you so much for taking the time. And until next time, guys.
And for all the people that are on my channels, go subscribe to the Carnivore Community Worldwide on YouTube.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.